Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you fervently prayed for God to answer your question or solve your problem, yet day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, silence echoed from heaven's throne? We will examine instances in the Bible when God chose not to respond and the reasons behind his silence. By doing so, we will gain a deeper understanding of God as character and learn how to navigate those moments when the answer to our prayers seems elusive. Let us come together to unravel the mysteries of God's silence and discover the profound lessons it holds for us. Satan challenged God, questioning Job's faithfulness and claiming that Job's devotion was rooted in self-interest rather than genuine love for God. God permitted Satan to test Job, stripping him of his wealth, his children, and ultimately, his health. Throughout these trials, Job remained steadfast in his faith, even cursing the day he was born. During his ministry, Jesus taught and performed miracles, offering hope and healing to all who came to him. However, when Jesus returned to his hometown of Nazareth, he was not welcome. The people there rejected him and accused him of performing miracles only among his own people. Do they align with his word and his character? Or are we asking for things that would bring harm to ourselves or others? Is there a particular sin or area of our life that needs correction? He has a perfect plan and timeline for our lives. Just because we do not see an answer to our prayers immediately or in the way we desire, does not mean that God has forgotten about us or is uninterested in our requests. Trust in his divine wisdom and timing. Believe that he is working all things together for our good, because he loves us and desires the best for us. Are we clinging to wrong beliefs or refusing to accept his guidance? God sometimes allows challenges to arise so that we can learn valuable lessons and grow spiritually. Therefore, we should be open to the possibility that unanswered prayers may be opportunities for spiritual growth and transformation. We must ensure that our prayers are pure and unselfish, seeking God's glory and the well-being of those around us. As a result, Jesus refrained from performing any miracles in Nazareth, except for healing one leper outside the town, and willingness to help us. It's essential to remember that God is never indifferent to our struggles. His silence is not a sign of neglect, but an opportunity for faith to grow and our understanding of his ways to deepen. Through stories like Job, Solomon, and Jesus in Nazareth, we learn that God may choose not to answer our prayers, to test our faith, refine our character, teach us humility, broaden our perspective, protect the innocent, uphold justice, convict sinners, and demonstrate his power. Our response to unanswered prayers should be marked by perseverance, purity of motive, openness to learning, and trust in God's sovereignty. May we embrace the silence of heaven with faith, knowing that God is working all things together for our good. This episode reveals that Jesus sometimes chose not to answer the needs of those who rejected or opposed him. In this video, we delve into the question of why God chooses to heal some people while leaving others in sickness or pain. Join us in this thought-provoking discussion as we explore the depths of God's healing power and the mysteries surrounding his choice to heal. Click here to access the video and join us on this continued journey of faith and discovery. Unanswered prayers can be a consequence of hardened hearts or a refusal to acknowledge Jesus' teachings and authority. It serves as a reminder that our prayers should be accompanied by faith and a willingness to accept Jesus' teachings. However, God did not answer Job's prayers or alleviate his suffering. They include testing our faith, refining our character, teaching us humility, broadening our perspective, protecting the innocent, upholding justice, convicting sinners, and demonstrating his power. First and foremost, it's important to persevere in prayer. Jesus taught us to keep on asking, seeking, and knocking, and he promised that we would receive what we ask for. While God may delay his response, he may also answer in ways we don't expect. Therefore, we should continue to communicate with God, trusting that he hears our prayers, even when we don't receive an immediate answer. However, it's essential to recognize that these instances do not imply a lack of compassion or indifference on God's part. Rather, they reveal a deeper purpose behind his silence, ultimately aimed at our spiritual growth and well-being. Instead, God confronted Job, challenging him to comprehend the vastness of divine wisdom and the limitations of human understanding. Job's story illustrates that God may allow us to experience unanswered prayers in order to refine our faith, teach us humility, and broaden our perspective. Sometimes the absence of an answer becomes an opportunity to draw closer to God and discover deeper truths. Let us begin our discussion by examining some biblical accounts where God chose not to answer the prayers of his people. Known for his wisdom, Solomon once asked God for a dream to distinguish between two women who were disputing over a baby. But God did not grant his request. Instead, God showed Solomon the means to discern the truth by instructing him to cut the living baby in half to give each woman a portion. While Solomon solved the dilemma, this instance highlights that God may choose not to answer prayers that involve harming others or violating ethical principles. In this case, God directed Solomon to act in accordance with justice and fairness, reminding us that our prayers should align with his righteous standards. The more you plead it, the deeper your despair. You might start to question, does God really hear me? Or worse, Is God even there? If God didn't answer Solomon's prayer, can I still pray for help in my own situation? The answer is yes. But remember, our prayers should always be in harmony with God's will. We must ensure they do not conflict with His moral standards or involve causing harm to ourselves or others. Prayer should be a means of seeking God's guidance and blessing, not a tool to manipulate circumstances or violate His principles. Whether it's a desperate plea for healing, a fervent request for guidance, or a heart-wrenching appeal for intervention in a difficult situation, there are times when we cry out to God and it feels as if He turns a deaf ear to our pleas. In these moments, doubt can creep in, whispering insidious suggestions that God has abandoned us, or worse, that He simply doesn't care. It's crucial to remember that God is not indifferent to our struggles. His silence is not a sign of neglect, but an opportunity for faith to grow and our understanding of His ways to deepen. Do you wrestle with doubts about God's presence and His willingness to help you? If so, know this: you are not alone. Many believers have grappled with this same silent struggle, and today we're going to tackle a profound question that has echoed through the corridors of human history. Why doesn't God answer? In our journey today, we will delve into the depths of this divine silence and explore its meaning. Before we begin, let's take a moment to acknowledge the pain that often accompanies unanswered prayers. As we embark on this exploration, I encourage you to approach it with an open mind and a willing heart. The first story we encounter is that of Job, a man renowned for his piety and righteousness. Another compelling account is that of Solomon, the son of King David. Now, you might be thinking, what does this mean for me? We come across another significant account in the life of Jesus Christ. These biblical stories illustrate various reasons why God may choose not to answer our prayers. But what does this mean for us today? How should we respond when our prayers go unanswered? Secondly, we should examine our motives and intentions behind our prayers. Are our requests in line with God's will? Furthermore, we should consider the possibility that God may be trying to teach us something through our unanswered prayers. Finally, we must remember that God is sovereign, and His ways are not our ways. In conclusion, while the silence of heaven may sometimes leave us questioning God's presence, if you found this video insightful and want to continue exploring related topics, I invite you to watch another video titled "Why Doesn't God Heal Everyone?"